Do you know what? I had several emails this morning about today's front page where we did reveal that Jonathon Ross, spoiler alert, left the Traitors. Really unhappy with us for spoiling it. And I get it, but I also think sometimes when 1 in 4 adults is now watching this show, it comes a point where you got to watch it live or you're probably going to find out, right?
I'm like, do these people not have social media? Because I am now like, there's no way I am missing an episode. And if I am, I'm staying off all social media. I'm not talking to a single soul because otherwise you're going to find out, aren't you? You have to watch it live. And I think that's why it's been such a huge ratings hit this time, because everyone knows that it's so good when you don't know what's going to happen and anything could happen.
And watching along with everyone is part of the fun. I really loved that because we're so used to streaming and watching something whenever we want. Whereas actually sitting on the sofa with your family and knowing that everyone else, your friends and people at work are all watching the same thing as you. And you can chat about it in real time.
Every group chat popping off, of every GIF, every meme. Love it.
Exactly. So very sorry to the people in my inbox, but you've got to get involved or you're just going to see it, aren't you? Huge news, though, that finally they got a traitor because...
Finally.
Is this the most useful group of faithfuls ever?
Useless.
I said useful. Definitely not useful. Useless.
I think so. Honestly, have you guys seen all of the other series of the Traitors? So I'm a massive fan and I watched the Australian one, the second series of the Australian one. If you've not seen it, it was on iPlayer. I assume it's still there. And they were absolutely awful. And another spoiler alert, I mean, if you're going to watch all of the series, don't listen to this bit. But in that one, I think it was like maybe the third banishment, the third round table, they got rid of a traitor, but then did not find a single other traitor. 3 traitors got to the final. And then they had to like fight it out for the money and ended up trying to steal from each other and no one got any money. It was a complete disaster from start to finish. The whole series was a mess. But at least they got one traitor early on. In this one, it's like, there's no one left. How on earth did they only just get Jonathon? It was beyond me. I really felt like 3 episodes ago, they were going to vote him out. And then he just was like a cat with 9 lives. He must be chuffed that he even stayed in that long.
I think so. I saw someone saying that they were all getting a bit cocky, Jonathon, Alan, Carr and Kat. And rightly so, because, I mean, they were having the time of their lives. They could do anything. They were, I mean, murdering in plain sight multiple times.
It felt inevitable that Jonathon had to go now. He'd done such a great job, probably one of the best traitors in history. But they had to start turning on each other, didn't they, really? We had to have that. And when Kat said Jonathon's name, it was like a proper moment because you're thinking, well, this is it. This is the end of the big dog, as we've all been calling him, Jonathon Ross. And he's got to have had one of the best speeches ever to sign off.
Oh, it was epic, wasn't it? I went up to the castle as part of a press day and we played
jealous.
We played a little game of the Traitors. And my claim to fame is I was the 4th person to ever have the Claudia tap on the shoulder because it was just after the first series. And the dread I felt, because I knew I'd have to stand up and be funny in my reveal speech. And I knew I'd immediately get caught out because I'm very, read me like a book. And I knew I had nothing funny to say. And my reveal speech was apparently a huge letdown.
Oh, you could tell that Jonathon had rehearsed his. He was ready.
Yeah, he's been doing that in the mirror.
Yeah.
He'd been thinking about that for a long time.
What I was thinking, though, is that of all of these useless faithfuls, poor Kate Garraway has really taken the biscuit.
Our useless queen. I adore her. She's just been, I don't think she'll have enjoyed watching herself back. I think she might be a bit embarrassed about how bad she's been. She's coming across a bit thick, isn't she?
So this is what I was thinking, right? When these celebrities go on these kind of reality kind of shows, showing their true self, if they're known for a character or, a very serious job like Kate's, does it risk them coming off bad from the edit, et cetera, et cetera? And I was thinking through, Kate's probably the one that might be considered to, like you say, people are saying, is she thick? And this is a woman who interviews politicians. She's a lovely lady and is definitely not thick.
Absolutely not. No.
But it's the ham, isn't it? It's, it's the ditziness. Do you think Kate probably feels that way?
I think she's played up to a bit on social media. So I like that she's laughing along with the nation. And I know it feels for them serious when they're around that round table and they're, arguing about it and stuff. But really, it's not that deep. And so I think she can laugh at herself because she's like, yeah, this clearly isn't my strong suit. And I think you can be an intelligent person and be absolutely rubbish at that game.
Yeah, because it is logic and strategy. And
As David sort of shows us, doesn't he? I mean, they're the two worst faithfuls, aren't they?
Yeah.
And we saw them last night. David still hasn't caught a traitor because he didn't vote for Jonathon.
No.
And David, you would describe as someone who is incredibly intelligent.
They all keep saying David is so clever.
But
then he's randomly off chasing a pigeon whilst everyone else has the big dog. You know what I mean?
I don't know what, I mean, he must be really seriously having to sit down and to think about, his behaviour on this series. How have I been this bad? What does this mean for my future? Do I need to go back to university? He's just been terrible, absolutely terrible.
Do I need to call in the PRs?
Yeah, I think so. I think he does, yeah.
Well, real life impact of the Traitors we've seen is this fallout between Alan Carr and Paloma Faith. And people were sort of speculating about it because he killed her in the first murder of the series. And I always thought that was just, she was there, he could touch her. But then he didn't welcome her baby news this week. And then on a podcast, he has confirmed the fact that him and Paloma aren't speaking at the moment, which is bonkers.
It's pretty brutal. I can see why Paloma would be upset that she went out so early because, I mean, it's such a big show. And I think with anything, even if you hadn't even watched The Traitors before, you'd be so excited to take part. It's such a crazy thing. I think a lot of people would be like, wow, I'd love to see if I would be any good at it. To go out straight away would just be really gutting. So I can see why she might be a little bit upset, but I don't know. But also, actually, I did notice that on Uncloaked last night, Jonathon sort of suggested that he'd only talked to one of the traitors since he left. And I thought, that's interesting.
That is interesting.
Is there a fallout there, or is that just maybe a slip of the tongue? Or
he's definitely the chatty Cathy of the group. Not with the others, maybe, but he is on that podcast every week, spilling all of the secrets, which we love. Do you think he's maybe going to come out of this badly? He's been called a snake. Beep by Ruth Codd that came out yesterday. Has he come across badly?
I don't think so. I think he's come across really well. I mean, no offense to Jonathon Ross, but I haven't watched his show in quite a few years. And I sort of was reminded of why he's such a great broadcaster. I used to watch his show when I was a kid when it was on BBC. And he was great fun, It was like a really great show. And sort of seeing him on there as this very interesting, witty, intelligent character who also could play along with a bit of the pantomime of it, I was like, yeah, go you, you're still a fun guy. And he was like, with his silly outfits and things. I was like, this is a cool guy. I like him,
I couldn't agree more because I think Ruth, you mentioned, they've just had beef, haven't they? But Ruth is just doing it for press. She was a nothing on the show. I just didn't like her at all. Sorry.
Brutal.
Mean girl energy. But she just was one of those, you could take her or leave her Traitors, and she's come out and said things that I don't think are particularly accurate. And I think Jonathon has been everything this series needed. Him and Alan Carr, if it hadn't been for those two, and of course my sweet Kate Garraway, then I don't think it would have been the same. He's really saved it. And I think he had a disadvantage from the beginning because to me, I would have chosen Jonathon as a traitor if I was Claudia. So he has had that target on his back from the off, and he did incredibly well to last all of that time.
Someone who everyone has loved getting to know more of is Celia. What an absolute legend. And I've got some big Celia news.
Okay.
Tell us.
Specifically on the fart.
Oh God, not her own range of merch.
So it's come out today that she is absolutely obsessed with the fart.
She's bringing out an air freshener or something. Is that what?
Well, producers said to her, don't worry, we'll edit it out. It's fine. And she said, no, you will absolutely keep that in. That was my Celia news. But
Fab.
I know. What an exclusive.
Icon. She's been great. I just love how she is kind of who I'd want to be in the game. Like she flirts and says about how I do love you, but also watching you.
And
you know,
you don't
she's
do
just
that
got
kind
that
of thing,
energy.
I do sort of
Got it.
wonder whether because she's an older woman, they've been too scared to like kill her off because it feels too cruel, because she is this like nice little old lady, but also says her mind.
Yeah.
But I'm quite surprised she's stayed in that long.